Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chem 170 with your host, me, Dr. White. Hi, everybody. Tonight I'll be doing a mini review how to prepare for the Chem 170 final. Let me just remind you. This Saturday at 10 a.m. or earlier, I will be sending out the password for the PDF for the final exam PDF file, which will be in D2L. You will have until Tuesday, the 10th of December, 8 p.m. to take the final exam and upload your answers as a single PDF file. I reserve the right to subtract up to 50 points for anybody doesn't follow instructions, anybody doesn't upload your final exam on time, and I will enforce that. Please take as much time as long as you get it uploaded on time. But if we were face-to-face over the years, this final for Chem 170, most students at most need 90 minutes. A lot of them are done within 75, 80 minutes. All right, the final exam will not be open notes or open internet or open friends. All right, the final exam has 32 problems, 18 pages. Relax. My students do good on my final. Yes, it's long, but you'll do good. You're doing good on the semester. Some of the problems are multiple part. The breakdown is 30 points general knowledge, 62 points nomenclature, 118 reactions. And that's 210. So there's 10, 10 bonus points. Now, from Saturday through Tuesday, I will be checking my email regularly. If you have questions, email me. ECC, because of the contract with our faculty and ECC, next week, ECC really doesn't have quote unquote official finals week like some schools have. But we are required, we all faculty, the last week, next week, to have office hours. So next Monday and Wednesday night, I will have office hours. If you have questions, stop by, say hello. Now, I'd highly recommend you watch these 3 videos for an in-depth review of the whole semester. I'm not going to do that tonight because that would take a number of hours, but I already have videos of that. But I will go through in a little while a couple of things that I want to cover before my end tonight. Now, an important thing I highly recommend, use your hourly exams as practice problems. I posted videos. They're private, so go back and check your email for the links. And if you need a link, email me and I'll send it to you. But do use your hourly exams as practice problems. If you can do those those hourly exams correctly, then you're in good shape for the final. And just like during the semester, you use my practice problems and the practice problem sets to practice for the hourly. Well, similar questions were on the test. Well, similar, not the same. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I won't. But similar will be on the final. I'm going to ask you, what's the nomenclature of this molecule? I'm going to ask things like, give the organic product or products for reactions, just like you saw in the hourly exam will be on the final. Just different R groups and stuff. One last thing, don't forget to turn in any ungraded labs. If you need me to open up a lab because you didn't turn it in, I will allow you to do that. The deadline will be Thursday next week, the 12th. After that, I've got to get grades in, and I would like to get them done by that Thursday. When I was an undergrad, they mailed out grades. And you had to wait 2 or 3 weeks. That was miserable. It was a long time ago, too. All right, so remember, this Saturday I'll be sending out the password for the final exam. Remember, you'll have until Tuesday next week, which is I was going to look, but it's I believe the 10th of December, 8 p.m. to get your answers uploaded. Don't forget to hand in your labs. And I think today was the deadline. I think we already passed for the extra credit project. All right, now, couple things you should know leaving my class. And the first thing you should know, hint, leaving my class, is how does soap work? And that was a question also on test 4, but you should know how soap works. Well, let's go through it again. Soap has a non-polar tail, polar head. Water is polar. Dirt and grease are non-polar. And the key to the puzzle is like dissolves like. And when I graded this, if you didn't have that down there, I took off 2 points because that's the whole key to the puzzle. Now, it has to talk about micelles. Here's dirt. Here's a micelle with the soap particles lined up with the polar heads on the outside. The micelle now looks polar to water, and they go down the drain together. You should know this. Now, the next thing you should know is how to describe with words and a general reaction what happens, first of all, when you eat a fat or oil. And you should be able to describe it with words. And that's acid hydrolysis of an ester. The key functional group in a fat or oil is an ester. And the general reaction you learned for test number 3, ester, and you can write it the other way too. In your stomach is acid, H plus. You could have also put HCl and water, and you get back the carboxylic acid plus the alcohol you would have used to make that ester. So you should know how to describe with words and a general reaction what happens when you eat a fat or oil. And with words, that's acid hydrolysis of an ester. And the general reaction is an ester, acid and water, and you get a carboxylic acid and the alcohol you would have used to make that ester. Next, you should be able to describe with words and a general reaction what happens in your stomach when you eat a carbohydrate. And here we have acid hydrolysis, because in your stomach there's acid and water. If I can spell it right. And what's the key functional group holding glucose molecules together? An acetal. So the way to describe with words what happens in your stomach when you eat a carbohydrate is acid hydrolysis of an acetal. The general reaction you learn for test 2 acetal or ketal, acid, and you could put HCl there too, but I'll put H plus. And keep your eye on the carbon with 2 oxygens, because that becomes this carbonyl carbon. What's attached to it is still attached to it. And the 2 ORs become the alcohol. And for those who want, you can put a 2 there, you don't have to. And this is acid hydrolysis of an acetal or ketal, giving back a ketone or aldehyde and the alcohol you would have used to make that acetal or ketal. So how do you describe with words and a general reaction what happens in your stomach when you eat a carbohydrate? And that's acid hydrolysis of an acetal. And here we have an acetal or ketal, general reaction, acid and water, and you get back the aldehyde or ketone plus the alcohol you would have used to make that acetal or ketal. And the final thing which we learned is when you eat a protein. Well, how do you describe with words and a general reaction what happens in your stomach when you eat a protein? And that is what's happening in your stomach: acid hydrolysis and what's the key functional group that keeps amino acids together in a protein? An amide. And what's the general reaction of acid hydrolysis of an amide? We have an amide where R prime and R double prime can be both carbons or one or both hydrogens. And here I'm going to actually use HCl, and you'll see why in a second, maybe 2 seconds. And when you have acid hydrolysis of an amide, you get back the carboxylic acid you would have used to make that amide, but the amine you form immediately reacts with the HCl to form the amine salt of the amine you would have used to make that amide. So when you eat a protein, how do you describe with words and a general reaction the key functional group that holds amino acids together in a protein is an amide? Now, protein chemists or amino acid protein chemists call that a peptide linkage, but synthetic organic chemists call it an amide, and I'm a synthetic organic chemist. And that's the acid hydrolysis of an amide. And the general reaction is amide, acid, and water. Get back the carboxylic acid plus the amine salt of the amine you would have used to make that amide. So, leaving my class, hint, it's time for Dr. White to be subtle one last time. Let me fix up that K. It looks awful. Hint, know this. You should know, leaving my class, how to describe with words and a general reaction what happens when you eat a fat or oil. That's acid hydrolysis of an ester. And here's the general reaction. Ester, acid, and water, you get back the carboxylic acid plus the alcohol you would have used to make that ester. If you eat a carbohydrate, how do you describe it? Words in a general reaction. What happens in your stomach as acid hydrolysis? Remember, there's HCl in your stomach and water. And what's the key functional group holding glucose together and carbohydrates? And acetal. So it's acid hydrolysis of an acetal. And here we have the acetal or ketal, acid and water. Get back the aldehyde or ketone plus the alcohol you would have used to make that acetal or ketal. And finally, a protein. What's the key functional group that holds amino acids together in a protein? And that's an amide linkage. So how do you describe it? Words in a general reaction. What happens when you eat a protein? Well, that's acid hydrolysis of an amide. And the general reaction is amide, acid, and water, HCl. You get back the carboxylic acid you would have used to make that amide, plus the amine salt of the amine you would have used to make that amide. And these are three things, along with how does soap work, you should know leaving my class. Hint, big hint. Now, once again, let me remind you, this Saturday, I'll send out the password for the final exam. Here's the point breakdown. You'll have on Tuesday, the 10th of December, 8 p.m. to upload your answers. Be on time. I'm going to take off points if you're late. And here's the point breakdown by general knowledge, nomenclature, reactions, and also material on tests 1, 2, 3, 4, and new material. Now, right here, I have 3 videos you should watch that will help you prepare for the final exam. And don't forget, use your hourly exams as practice problems. And don't forget, hand in your ungraded labs as soon as possible. With that, I'm done. Remember the first class I said, you don't know it, but my world of organic chemistry is your world of organic chemistry. And now you know my world of organic chemistry is your world, and you know about it. You're one of the few people on this planet who understand that, and you should be proud of that. Thank you for being a good group. If you like what I did this semester, go to ratemyprofessor.com and let people know about it. With that, for the last time this semester, well, it's over already. I'll say gehen gesund, which is Yiddish for going out, and bye now. I stole that from Branding the Beverly Hillbillies. Bye.